Shalom, shalom. It's good to have y'all back. This is The Way of Truth, and I'm here with my crew, and we're doing the first book of Adam and Eve, and we are on chapter what?
66.
66, Sean?
LXVI.
LXVI. So it took us about 20 minutes to figure out what LXVI is.
Adam's fixing to find out what work is.
And we are fixing to discover work in the new world, right? So here we go. And listen, as always, stop us if you've got a question. Stop us if you've got a comment. Just stop us, okay? Somebody stop me. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. We've got our Bible and we've got our book. I'm reading now the Sefer, and you really can't tell it because it's backwards, I found out. And we're also reading now the first book of Adam and Eve and the second book. And it is by Rutherford, isn't it? Rutherford Platt Jr. Don't forget the junior. And so both of these are good books. So let's get started, shall we? And guys, listen, just as a review, last week, what just happened to them last week? They ate. For the first time, they finally ate. And their body function started. Let's look at verse 7 of 65. Then Adam and Hua, and for our live streamers, Hua is who? Eve. It's just the name that is in the Sefer. Then Adam and Hua came back into the cave, sorrowful and crying because of the alteration of their bodies, and they knew from that hour that they were altered beings, that all hope of returning to the garden was now lost, and that they could not enter it. Sean, get your foot off it. No, just back up.
I'm going to sit back here.
I'm sorry.
I
thought my
can't help it.
I thought my eye was jittering. It was like,
I'm so sorry.
no, come here. You usually do it, but it's okay. You can sit up here close. I moved my table.
What was he doing?
He's shaking his leg.
Oh.
His whole leg was shaking.
Shaky leg.
Okay.
You know, up to this
I was
point,
like,
up to this point.
Really? You're coming over here?
I made it. He
Right, now I can
moved
hear you.
at church one day because I was doing
that's what I was doing. Okay, Valerie, do what? Children.
If I can remember. Up to this point, Adam and Eve, not Yahuwah, whatever name he is, were depending on Yahuwah for everything.
Yes,
Now it's food to their physical being.
that's right.
Think about that.
Listen, what we're going to start seeing is they're starting to get comfortable in this new world, and they're starting to go, oh, now we need food, and now we need this, and we need that. So, yeah.
Gotta do something to get it.
I
That's
couldn't
it.
hardly hear that. Could you demonstrate that again?
This and that.
That's a new one.
Okay, stop it. Okay, so they just started, now that their bodies had strange functions, and all flesh that requires food and drink for its existence cannot be in the garden. And that's the big one. And that's when we started talking about the fact that Moshe fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Yeshua fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. The moving to the point of death brings our bodies closer to the ability to draw nearer to Yah. And so that's the importance of that. If our bodies are functioning like animals, you can't draw near for some reason. Probably the filth. Okay, so you go forward into the presence.
Yeah. You're just,
You can't go into the kingdom.
no.
Okay, now we are in the number what, Sean?
3.
66.
66.
When it was morning, the day after they had eaten food, Adam and Hua prayed in the cave, and Adam said to Hua, look, we asked for food of Elohim, and he gave it, and now let's also ask him to give us a drink of water. And then they got up and went to the bank of the stream of water that was on the south border of the garden, in which they had been thrown in which they had thrown themselves. And they stood on the bank and prayed to Elohim that he would command them to drink the water. And then the word of Elohim came to Adam and said to him, "O Adam, your body has become brutish and requires water to drink. Take some and drink it, you and Hua, and then give thanks and praise." And Adam and Hua then went down to the stream and drank from it until their bodies felt refreshed. After having drunk, they praised Elohim and then returned to their cave after their former custom. This happened at the end of 83 days. So it's been 83 days since they came out of the garden. So 82 days before they actually ate food. That's a long time. They had to be very faint. Food or water. Then on the 84th day they took the 2 figs and hung them in the cave together with the leaves thereof to be to them a sign and blessing from Elohim. And they placed them there so that if their descendants came, they would see the wonderful things Elohim had done for them. And then Adam and Hua stood outside the cave and asked Elohim to show them some food with which they could nourish their bodies. And then the word of Elohim came and said to him, "O Adam, go down to the westward of the cave until you come to the land of dark soil, and there you shall find food." And again, who is the word of Elohim?
Yeshua.
It's Yeshua. And how do we know that? What does John 1:1 say?
The Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was Yah.
And so this is the word of Yah. It is Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
It's pre-Yeshua.
Right.
It's what he was before he came to the earth.
But he was.
Yes, he was the memre, the breathed out word of Yah. And Adam obeyed the word of Elohim and took Hua and went down to a land of dark soil, and there found wheat growing in the ear and ripe, and figs to eat, and Adam rejoiced over it. You know, guys, before they weren't rejoicing over the food. They didn't even know what to do with it, right?
Right.
Listen.
They didn't need it.
They needed it, but they didn't know they needed it.
Well, but he had supplied what they needed, or they wouldn't still be alive.
Well, but for 80 days, they were growing weaker and weaker and weaker.
Well, he keeps bringing them
Yes,
back
he
from
keeps-
the dead
he
pretty
does.
much.
They were
So
going through
I
it,
think
too.
that had
Yes.
something to do with, this 80-something days.
That's a long time without food and water. But their bodies hadn't even, their bodies had never even
They
known
know
it
that they
yet.
needed it.
Yeah.
They were being supplied what they needed by Yeshua came to them, the Word came to
Yep.
them, and came to them. So he was the food.
Sustaining them. But think about it this way. He's raising his kids up. Look, he's teaching them to eat.
Mm-hmm.
He just taught them to eat.
Yeah,
Their bodies just started functioning.
They're babies.
Yeah.
He's teaching them, now he's going to teach them to work. What does he say? You work 6 days, the 7th day you rest.
Yep, that's it.
So it's one step at a time. He taught them what the sun was.
Mm-hmm.
He taught them that when darkness comes, you're not going to die. I mean, he's taught them a lot. They're just like little children.
Exactly.
They're like Giovanni. They're very young and they don't know what they don't know. So he's having to teach them.
And
it's
that's the way we are
precious.
spiritually.
Yes. Yes.
Trying to teach us what we don't know.
We have to be like Giovanni. We have to be innocent like little children.
Can I,
Yes.
you weren't there last week, but I read this part last week and I can't find the other one. But anyway, it says, this is the one that came by water and by blood.
Where are you?
I'm in the Torah, John.
Well, where?
I'm in John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
John,
yeah, I mean, it's just
but
short.
give me scripture.
Yes, John 4:6,
Okay.
and then 21.
Okay.
This is the one that came by water and by blood, but the Messiah, not only by water, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit who bears witness, because the Spirit is the truth. And then at the bottom it says, little children, keep yourselves from idols. I mean, they don't know any better, but that's the innocence, that's the balance that we're all looking for. I mean,
That is beautiful.
And there's another one too. But
You know,
I
that's
can't
beautiful
find
how
that
you
one.
just related it to this. I like that a lot.
Good.
Find the other one.
I got it marked. But it's
No,
it's
look, you've seen how I work. I'm like Dennis on demand, and he gives me scripture. You have to do the same thing. Okay, that's it. Move up here. I'm kidding.
What was the
Okay.
other one about, Robert?
Man,
What was the other one about?
it was just basically, the Spirit. I got it
I
marked.
think
Hey,
they were
Blossom.
really going going through
And
trials
Cindy,
too about though is
good to
that
see y'all.
even though he's teaching them what they're going to have to do to sustain themselves here, every step that they took too also made them feel like they were, in a sense, being pulled further and further away from the Lord as they had known him, because they knew him so closely, so intimately. You know, being pulled away from the light, just, you know, being shown the darkness, and yeah, they feared that they were going to die again. You know, like, oh gosh, what have we done now? You know, it was more and more things that they're experiencing, even having to eat. They felt that also pulling their flesh away from the Lord. I mean, you know, the flesh in them, pulling them away from the Lord.
The more fleshly they become, the less spiritual. I mean, and that's where we are today. We've become so fleshly, we don't understand spirit. Yes, John. I mean, Robert.
I'm Roger. I'm
No.
Robert, and I'm John.
Today you're John.
All right.
10:4.
This is John 3:6, and these all flow together. But there's another one also. It says, if you read the other two first, we are of Elohim, the one knowing. Elohim hears us. He who is not of Elohim does not hear us. By this we know that the spirit of truth and the spirit of delusion. And look, the sad part about, I wish I could.
Doesn't it go on to say, this is how we know those who know him? They keep his command.
Yeah, and it's the most prolific understanding and non-understanding, because when you're so, and this is the part that being repetitive, it's not that you don't understand it until you experience I can't make it, I'm dying, and then you go through that, and there's such a freedom and an understanding, and the righteousness, you can't stop yourself from knowing. At that point, it just comes. And then as you don't even want food, you don't even think about it, nor the water.
Because you're drawing closer to the spiritual side.
But as you get back into society, and then you begin to eat, there's about a week where you still have it, and then after about the second or third week, it begins to, when I say slip away, you still have an understanding, but you're still fighting. Wow, there's such a natural feeling that it's a battle.
Yes.
You know, and that's.
And for our live streamers, what Robert's talking about is a long extended fast without food and water. And I mean, he's talking about a true fast without water or food. I've done a long fast without food, but I had water. And so the thought of going, even on Yom Kippur, when we go without food and water, that to me is a long time, because my body craves water. And I haven't had water today because I forgot to fill it up.
It's
so
almost like a perfect storm, like when Michael Jordan shoots a three-pointer. I'm trying to compare it metaphorically.
Yes.
Is that you have to be in the right zone, the right place, and it might be that you weren't able to stop because you're so far out, and then you make it through that overwhelm, and it's just an extraordinary experience.
That is good. Okay, we're going forward, and thank you so much.
Yes,
and that was really good. How you brought all that in, and you just lost a bunch of papers. We're in 4. We're in 66:4. Adam and Hua then went down to the stream and drank from it until their bodies felt refreshed, and after having drunk, they praised Elohim and then returned to their cave after their former custom. Look at this. They're getting accustomed to coming back to the cave. Before, they didn't want to go there. They did not want to be there. And this happened at the end of 83 days. And then on the 84th day, they took 2 figs. Oh, I've already read all that. Why didn't you tell me that? I'm on 9. Okay, then the word of Elohim came again to Adam and said to him, take some of this wheat and make yourself some bread with it to nourish your body therewith. And Elohim gave Adam's heart wisdom to work out the wheat until it became bread. And Adam accomplished all that until he grew very faint and weary, and then he returned to the cave, rejoicing at what he had learned of what is done with wheat until it is made into bread for one's use. So look, they're like little children. He is so happy that now he can make bread. Before that, he didn't even know what bread was. What's bread? Oh, I can make it, but I don't see that he's eaten it yet. Okay, we are in chapter 67. Then Satan began to lead astray Adam and Hua again. And when Adam and Hua went down to the land of black mud and came near the wheat Elohim showed them, and saw that it was ripe and ready for reaping, they did not have a sickle to reap it with. So they readied themselves and began to pull up the wheat by hand until it was all done. And then they heaped it into a pile, and faint from heat and from thirst, they went under a shade tree where the breeze fanned them to sleep. But Satan saw what Adam and Hua had done, and he called his host and said to them, since Elohim has shown to Adam and Hua all about this wheat, wherewith to strengthen their bodies, and look, they have come and made a big pile of it, and faint from the toil, and are now asleep. Come, let us set fire to this heap of grain and burn it. What does he come to do? Kill, steal,
and destroy.
and here he's destroying.
Destroy their pile of wheat.
And he's not just going to destroy their wheat. He said, then let's take that bottle of water that is with them and empty it out, so that they may find nothing to drink, and we will kill them with hunger and thirst. Then, when they wake up from their sleep and seek to return to the cave, we will come to them in the way and will lead them astray, so that they die of hunger and thirst, when they may perhaps deny Elohim and he destroy them. So, shall we be rid of them? He said, we'll be done. They'll be gone. And then Satan and his host set the wheat on fire and burned it up. But from the heat of the flame, Adam and Hua woke up from their sleep and saw the wheat burning, and the bucket of water by them poured out. Then they cried and went back to the cave. They
do some crying and dying.
They do so. They do a bunch of boo-hooing, don't they? But listen, that's all. They just
That's what
found.
we do.
We do the same thing. We whine and bellyache and
Go back to
moan.
it, so.
Yeah. But they just found the wheat. I mean, they just found it. They just made a pile of wheat. They were like, think what we can do with all this wheat. And what happens? Hasatan comes along and he burns it up, just like that. But as they were going up from below the mountain where they were, Satan and his host met them in the form of angels, praising Elohim. And again, he comes as an angel of what? Light. He is so deceptive. And then Satan said to Adam, "Oh, Adam, why are you so pained with hunger and thirst? It seems to me that Satan has burnt up the wheat." And Adam said to him, "Yea." Again, Satan said to Adam, "Come back with us. We are angels of Elohim. Elohim sent us to you to show you another field of wheat, better than that. And beyond it is a fountain of good water and many trees, where you shall live near it and work the wheat field to better purpose than that which Satan has consumed." Adam thought that he was true, and that they were angels who talked with him, and he went back with them. And then Satan began to lead astray Adam and Hua 8 days, until they both fell down as if dead from hunger, thirst, and faintness. And then he fled with his host and left them. Isn't that just like him? How many times did he beat them up and then run away, or steal their figs and run away?
Leave them to that.
Yeah, I still think that it's going to be interesting, because is it Revelation? Which verse is it in the Word? 22:14.
Is it your favorite?
Not that one.
Okay. He sounds like a
No, but
bully.
that was a good start. No, but it's the one where he says, when we see this one that's tormented the earth, we're going to go, that's him?
Yeah.
For real? That's Satan? That's the one that tormented this whole world?
He has no grace.
Exact
He
same
has
thing.
no forgiveness or grace.
That's
That's the
right.
exact
He
same.
has no conscience, huh?
Sorry, Robert.
No, go ahead. That's all. Sorry.
It's the exact same thing that he does to us. He leaves us, like he comes in because we allow him in though, and then he scatters us, destroys us.
That's right. He doesn't have to hang around. He comes in, he destroys, and then he leaves.
Yep.
Because guess what? He's left a mess, and then we have to deal with it, right?
Yep.
Okay. We are now in chapter 68, how destruction and trouble is of Satan when he is the master. Adam and Hua established the custom of worship. And who is the master of this world right now?
Satan.
Hasatan. He's been given the reign for right
That's
now.
of this air.
And then Elohim looked at Adam and Hua, and at what had come over them from Satan, how he had made them perish. And Elohim therefore sent his word, raised up Adam and Hua from their state of death. And then Adam, when he was raised, said, "O Elohim, you have burnt and taken from us the wheat you have given us, and you have emptied out the bucket of water. And you have sent your angels who have caused us to lose our way from the wheat field." Guys, listen, how many times do we blame Yah
Oh,
for things that go wrong in our life? I mean, how many times do we go,
often.
Oh, God's putting me through the test. God's doing this to me, right? Yah was doing this. I want you to listen to what Yah says. He says, this is still Adam. He said, will you make us perish? If this be from you, O Elohim, then take away our souls, but punish us not. And then Elohim said to Adam, I did not burn down the wheat, and I did not pour out the water from the bucket, and I did not send my angels to lead you astray, but it is Satan, your master, the one that you follow, who did it. He to whom you have subjected yourselves, my commandment being meanwhile set aside. He it is who burnt down the wheat, poured out the water, and who has led you astray. And all the promises he has made you were just a trick, a deception, and a lie. Smoke and mirrors, guys. That's all he's full of.
Well, what did they do?
They sinned.
They went to sleep. They went to sleep.
Yeah,
What he had given to them, they went to sleep and didn't take care of it.
that's true.
And
That
here
is
comes-
true.
Hey, that's right. When you go to sleep mad or angry
Yes.
Yeah.
with
But
your
when you go to-
spouse,
Yeah.
But they weren't mad. They were
But if you go
weary
to sleep
from
and not
work.
doing what you're supposed to be doing, I mean, spiritually go to sleep.
Mhm.
Hey,
Oh,
that's when
That's
you
a good
Never
point.
mind.
That is a good point.
toy off you.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, you're way off.
Okay. But now, O Adam, you shall acknowledge my good deeds done to you. And Elohim told his angels to take Adam and Hua and to bear them up to the field of wheat, which they found as before, with a bucket full of water. So he restored. I mean, he literally restored everything as it was before. And there they saw a tree and found on it solid manna and wondered at Elohim's power. And the angels commanded them to eat of the manna when they were hungry. Here's the first manna, guys. It's on a tree for Adam and Eve to eat. And Elohim admonished Satan with a curse not to come again and destroy the field of wheat. And then Adam and Hua took of the wheat and made of it an offering, and took it and offered it up on the mountain, the place where they had offered up their first offering of blood. And they offered this offering again on the altar they had first built. And they stood up and they prayed and they besought Yahuwah, saying, Thus, O Elohim, when we were in the garden, our praises went up to you like this offering, and our innocence went up to you like incense. But now, O Elohim, accept this offering from us, and do not turn us away, deprived of your mercy. And then Elohim said to Adam and Hua, Since you have made this offering and have offered it to me, I shall make it my flesh, when I come down on earth to save you. And I shall cause it to be offered continually on an altar for forgiveness and for mercy for those who partake of it duly. So guys, listen, what is he? He is the bread of life, right? But more than that, what is he talking about? The bread will be offered on the altar daily. What's on the altar in the temple? A fresh loaf of bread every day. Is baked and placed on the altar. Seth, find that in well, you're not going to be able to find it on that.
What?
Well, yes, you will. Find the showbread.
Showbread?
It's the showbread.
I got you.
So this is what he's talking about. Guys, everything that we see in the first book of Adam and Eve is repeated in Scripture. I mean, everything. So here's where the bread comes from. The bread of life. Yeshua is our bread of life. He is that bread of life. 6:54, John 6:54, it talks about that. No, John 6:35. Let's just look at it.